As Angela Cabello watched her very own son be crushed by her very own car, she had to make a decision right there. She was facing a life-changing experience. She had to make a choice. See, Angela was 50 years old, she was 90 pounds, and she was 5'8". Does that sound possible? A 90-pound lady lifting up a possibly 2-ton car. As adrenaline rushed through her, she lifted up her car to save her son. She saw her problem right in front of her, and she made up in her mind, no matter what, I'm the only solution to my problem. She could have easily came up with an excuse, I'm too weak, I can't do this. God wants to use you like he's Angela. Yes. You can become like Angela, limitless, or Moses. See, Moses was 40 years old when he pridefully murdered a man, saying that he was doing both Jews and God a favor. Finally, at age 80, God used him, 40 years later. But why so late? Because he spent 40 years of his life doing what he wanted. And finally, when he was humble and weak enough to finally depend on God, God wanted to use him. But imagine how he felt. He wasted 40 years of his life doing nothing. How long are we going to wait to let God use us? In Matthew 15:32, it talks about a little boy who gives his fish and bread to Jesus to help multiply. And it ends up, Jesus uses this bread and fish and helps 5,000 men. But how many of us really know his name? We all know the story, but no one knows his name. Are we willing to risk our name to share your story and help other people? And Philippians 2:13 says, for God is working in you, giving you the desire and the power to do what pleases him. What's your excuse? Noah was a drunkard. Abraham was old. Isaac was a daydreamer. Jacob was a liar. Joseph was abused. Moses had a stuttering problem. Gideon was afraid. Samson was a womanizer. David was a murderer. Elijah was suicidal. Jonah ran from God. Job went bankrupt. Peter denied Jesus 3 times. Martha worried. The Samaritan woman was divorced more than once. Lazarus was dead. And Jeremiah and Timothy were too young. You are limitless because you can do all those things and God still wants to use you. Yes. Limits mean that you cannot pass. You have something holding you back. But when Jesus died, he made you limitless, which means you can do anything and you can overcome any obstacle. There's a song by Andy Mineo, and one of the phrases in there says, my biggest enemy is me, and even I can't stop me. You're your biggest enemy because you have a choice. The devil doesn't have a choice. He has no authority. The devil knows your name but calls you by your sin. But Jesus knows your sin but calls you by your name. And 2 Corinthians 3:18 says, so all of us who have the veil removed can see and reflect the glory of the Lord. And the Lord, who is the Spirit, makes us more and more like him as we are changed into his glorious image. We're truly a reflection of him. And when we lift him up, he's doing the same to us. We say, God, you're glorious, and he says, so are you. He says, God, you're mighty, and he says, so are you. You say, you're awesome, and he says, so are you. When you say, God, you're holy, he says, so are you. When you say, God, you're pure, he says, so are you. And whenever you say, God, you're limitless, he says, so are you. Thank you.